There we go.
Got him. All right.
Good fish.
Good. That's a good fish.
Good
there.
fish, yeah. There he comes. Well, Jace.
That's a nice way to start it.
Oh, did he eat it down,
You
huh?
want me to lip it for you?
Yeah, you can.
Lift him in. Here, come here. Whoa. Nice. Nice bass. Kind of doing the 1-2 punch here. I'm throwing a crankbait. You're coming in behind with a jig and a beaver and kind of giving them two different looks, just kind of seeing what the
they want.
see what the fish want. You know, I'm covering more water, I'm making more casts.
Yep.
You're probably staying in the zone longer, and so it's a horse apiece. You know, one day one might work well for finding fish, but you know, when it comes down to it, you know, soft plastics work really good for catching them once you find them.
Yeah, that's
you know?
true.
So we'll just keep going along here, but it's always neat thing about bass fishing is putting the pattern together each day.
That's
the
right.
water's cleared up, the sun's higher. We don't know if these fish are going to slide up deeper.
No idea.
They're going to go into the cover more, but a few casts from now, I think
I think we're getting there.
Absolutely.
Well, we got a pattern started, I think, Jace, so we'll see what happens here. There we go.
Got him?
There, coming up.
Gotta love that, huh?
Yep.
I think you put a little pressure on him and make him jump on purpose, Al.
Sure.
I know I do.
Look at that.
Well, I might have to go to a jig too.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's been a couple.
Bring him over here. Whoa, fish doesn't want to surrender quite yet. Nice fish.
Nice fish.
Pop that jig off for you. Yeah. Boy, look at the girth. These fish are just
healthy.
out in these cabbage beds just eating.
Great fish probably gills the whole routine.
Yeah.
I'm changing over here to a different pattern right now. We're trying to figure it out. I'm going to a heavier jig head. We're going to mushroom jig head with a impulse beaver on, looking like a crayfish. And we're trying the crankbaits. I was throwing a tube jig and that just didn't do it. We just couldn't get a bite. Earlier this was going with a very light jig head. So we're going to try to pick it apart now and see if we can find out, and then we'll keep changing until we got it figured for the next
good
pattern.
Fish.
Good one?
Yeah, this is a good fish. Whoa, look at that. Pulling out drag.
There's a good one, Dandy.
Yeah, that's a dandy.
That's a dandy.
Good fish. Right off the edge of that break line.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
right
there's
there.
a healthy one.
You know, I about put the crankbait away, but I'm gonna make a few more casts.
I think you
with
better
it.
stick with it.
Absolutely. Wow.
That's a healthy one there, yeah.
That is a nice one. Tell you what, I'll just swing them around here. Careful them hooks.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful. Good show.
That is
a porker.
That is a big bass. You know, when this fish hit, it was just slack on the line for about a second before I reared back on it. Yeah.
Healthy.
Just
Very
look
healthy,
at that.
yeah.
Just the big old belly on it, big old mouth.
Yep.
It was like you fit a spool of fishing line in the mouth. There, but yeah.
Good show.
Yeah, but you know, that's kind of neat.
Crankbait's doing the job.
Well, you know, right now, but you know, that's the thing that I love about bass fishing is that bass fishing is a moving target, isn't it? You know,
All
the
the
sun
time.
is changing, these shadows are changing.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, right
You
away in the
gotta
morning,
guess.
these fish might be off the structure, and so there is no one lure with bass fishing that'll cover many bases.
No.
You gotta have different.
Ready
things
to
in the boat.
change.
Absolutely, and so by comparing those different strategies and by comparing those different presentations, you know, the location of the fish and where those fish are positioned kind of dictate what to use, and that's.
Well, you
what's
cut
always-
that one off the break too. He was right down on
Yep,
the edge. Yeah,
yep,
that's I
and-
figured they'd be sitting there now. Sun's getting higher, so they're pulled out a little bit.
Yep,
Especially
and
the quality.
Show
of it.
what you're using here. You're just
Yeah,
using.
we're just using basically a beaver, an impulse beaver. We'll put her onto a mushroom head, 4 football type jig to get down. They seem to be down with this bright sky, so we've hooked them different ways, but this has been productive too, and we've been doing pretty well with that.
Yeah, and so, you know, basically I'm standing in front of you. I'm casting a crankbait that's moving very fast through the water. It's got a lot more flash. It's moving more, displacing more water, so there's an aggressive hot fish that's positioned up off that break. He's going to find it.
That's right.
Whereas you're coming in right behind and you're fishing a little bit more slower, a little bit more methodical. You're letting that drop down into that break tighter into those weeds, so if those fish are buried, they might not come up and chase the crankbait, but they'll come up and hit that. And so, yeah, that's a nice thing about having two people in the boat too.
Yeah, right. Well, we started, you know,
bases.
those first ones, Jace, were just underneath there. They could see this thing. We were going along shallower water, but then that changed within 15 minutes. I mean, it just went down. They moved out. This moved on out. So now we're going down deeper and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll keep casting here and see what we can do.
Good.
You know, this is just a classic pattern you're going to find on so many of these lakes. We're in northern Minnesota, not far from Walker. And there's just so many lakes in this area, very good visibility, clear water, and with the result of that, you've got great, tremendous weed growth. You know, there's cabbage growing out to 10, 12, 13 feet, coontail growing even deeper, and from summer into fall, just a matter of trying to figure out where they're at on that break, how they're positioned on that break line, how deep those fish are holding. And that can change through the day, and it definitely changes from day to day.
And there's sometimes where
there's a fish.
Better, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, halfway good one too.
Yeah.
In between size. You're going to convince me yet to go to a crankbait. Yeah, he's seen some battle.
Muskie or something got a hold of her. Well, every fish tells you something, huh?
Yes, it does.
Let's see here. Kind of on a main lake point here.
Yep.
A little bit different spot, a little bit cleaner spot where
yeah.
you
geez, you hit that. There you go. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes just a matter of finding them.
Yeah, I don't know what we have here.
That looks like a good fish.
Well, it hit it as soon as it hit the water. Yeah, it looks like a good fish. Going to be a different color. Whoa, it's sticking down.
Yeah. Do you want to grab them or do you want me to reach out?
Yeah, you can lip them.
Okay. Get reeled in here. Nice. Oh yeah, there's a dandy. There.
Good show.
Nice fish, bud.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just a
healthy.
Fish. Yeah.
About tucked the rod out of my hand. He was ready to bite.
Yeah, you know, that's such a. Yeah, you know, show this beaver that.
Yeah, we just switched on that, Chase.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of you. I know this is one of your favorite baits there, but just basically it's a crawfish.
That's what it is. It's a crawfish. Yeah.
And you know, that's the neat thing about this. You know, these bodies of water is that you've got a lot of young of your perch, you know, a lot of young of your bluegills, and then you've got the crawfish factor. And between those three forage items, that's usually where you find one of those forage items, you're going to find bass. And
well, I was looking at you know, the crankbait you're throwing through, and we're looking like a little crappie. There's a lot of little crappie bluegills, and those little bass kind of look that color too. So, yeah, we're on target, I think. Looking good right now.
Well, yeah, you know, the thing about this too is you get a couple people in the boat fishing different patterns, different techniques. You know, we're complementing each other because I'm gonna hit a fish that you're gonna miss, and vice versa. Right. And so until one of us really starts to do really well, we might as well just keep experimenting with stuff and trying different things until we find something that really takes off.
Well, all we've done right now, Jace, is we've moved into deeper breaks. Instead of being out there in the middle in the shallow cabbage, we're actually now going along the edge and pounding along the break line right into the cabbage where it breaks into the real deep water. It seems like we're doing pretty well right there.
There's a fish.
There we go. That's better.
Yep.
Nice fish.
Yeah, right off that.
Nice fish.
Break.
Right on the break again. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's a pig.
That is a big.
Yeah.
Wow. Take my time here.
Yeah. Good one.
That's the thing with all them treble hooks.
Yeah, you gotta watch that one. Right on the break,
so
huh?
Easy. Yep. Boy, isn't that
That's a dandy too, boy.
A big fish. Not hooked real good. I'll see if I can get my.
Watch that lip.
Get my.
One less rod.
Yeah. Get my thumb in her jaw here. There. Wow, look at
Yeah,
that. I'm gonna get these hooks out there. I can
Yeah.
feel the hooks pretty close to my.
Came right off the break, right?
Yeah, it did.
Looked like it, yeah.
Isn't that a gorgeous fish? Wow, I just love how they just woof them crankbaits. I mean, they just wolf them down. It just, you know, you're using a softer rod,
Yep.
you know, so you
Yep.
don't tear out the bait. So it's just kind of a mushier strike. But boy, I tell you what, they catch big fish on them. It's just
Full belly,
yeah.
dark back.
Oh yeah,
Nice, neat.
that's just a beautiful fish. Doesn't get better than that.
They're good.
Nice. There, that was a fun fish.
Yeah, nice fish. Nice.
You know, when it comes to fishing fast, you know, and having a, you know, you're on the hunt. What I love about like a deep diving crank like this, Al, is that I can fish it so fast.
Yeah.
You know, you take a spinnerbait. I mean, I love spinnerbaits too, but you know, you get fish that are say deeper than 5 feet deep. You know, on these 10-foot breaks, 12-foot breaks like we're seeing here. You know, you can fish a crankbait fast, and it's gonna maintain that dive curve.
Yep.
Where you take like a spinnerbait or some of these other lures and you start fishing them fast, they start to come up on you.
The number 6 size Salmo Hornet can be a tremendous bass lure that will dive down to nearly 10 feet of water on a cast. This lure has an extremely hard and pronounced vibration that triggers bass. The profile and size of this lure does an excellent job of mimicking young of the year crappie and bluegill.
Assuming that you have open enough water to fish a crankbait, you know,
Yeah.
you need to have some clean water, a sharp defined break to follow. Here's a fish.
Looks like a good one too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nice fish.
Oh yeah.
Good one. Good one. All right.
Get my thumb in her lip here. Get a jump out of her. A little bit of a splash.
Yeah.
Oh, she's not hooked very good now. Oh.
Good.
Come here, girl. Oh, getting hooked. There. Nothing wrong with that, huh?
No, it's good, Joyce.
No, I'm making a lot of contact with some of this vegetation too. I mean, some of these cabbage stalks are coming out of 12 feet of water.
Yep.
And, you know, I'm just cranking that crankbait right down into it. And
Seems like they want it there tipping that stuff.
yeah.
Got their heads buried right now with this. Oh,
Yeah, and the whole key to that, I think, is using braided line, just so you can rip and
yeah,
shred.
you've got to rip that
You know,
weed
you're
off.
you're just shredding that bait through those weeds. And then I got a fluorocarbon leader connecting the
Right.
lure to the braid, but you're just grinding it in there and just shredding as much of that vegetation as you can.
You know, Jason, in the when we fish these little lakes, there's some tips that people should look at. Usually I have, first of all, the people on different types of lures, but if you have sunfish or crappies and perch following, that's going to tell you one type of lure to be using. You know, it's probably something with the tails, the tubes, things like that. And the other thing is, if you find out that they're deep, you're going to have one person going fairly deep. Usually I do that out of the back of the boat and just kind of trolling and flipping it. If you bring kids with, definitely bring slip bobbers with and live bait, or just crawlers, leeches, crickets or something. They're going to have that going down all the time and get in the shallows and have a good time. And that's the nice thing about the little lakes.
You know, Al, when people think of Walker, Minnesota, you think of Leech Lake. You know, that's some tremendous bass, muskie, and walleye fishing, but probably the better secret is all the small lakes that are around here.
Well, that's exactly right, Jason. And we've got so many within 10 to 15 miles, and they all mostly have accesses and get to it. But you can have action all day long on these little lakes. What I like about it, when it's so rough on leech, it's a lot safer to go to these, bring the kids with, because they can really have fun on these. There's a lot of panfish in them. Tremendous bass fishing and pike fishing. And the other thing is you see a lot of wildlife. The kids, many times, you know, if they live in Chicago, Minneapolis, someplace like that, they don't get a chance to see deer. Deer will come out and beaver. You have bear periodically, and all kinds of eagles and birds. So it's wise for them to go do that, especially one day out of their vacation.
Yeah, especially if you get a 20, 30 mile an hour wind.
Yeah.
This keeps you alive. This
And that
keeps
can
you in the
happen.
game. Absolutely. There he is.
Okay.
Good fish. Yeah, look at
Yeah,
there.
there you go.
Nice bass.
Yeah, it is.
You just see that dark
Yeah.
water right off that deep break, deep edge.
All right.
Nice. Yeah, that's the thing. The boat's in about 20 feet of water. And we're just casting up into probably anywhere from 4 to 7 feet, just running right down that break. There. That's a nice bass right there. Yeah, just another classic pattern right on the edge of that break. And you know, every fish that we've caught today has been holding, you know, on those sharp breaks.
Yep.
They might be close to shallow water, and obviously they're on the weeds, but that structure where you have that sharp break, that deep water close by, that's just been the obvious thing that all these fish have had in common. And you know, obviously, you know, you can go on the bank and there's probably always a few fish at least that are hanging out in some of these lily pads or underneath some of these docks and stuff like that, but for the most part these fish have pulled out of that real shallow water. And this is just a classic summer pattern. But you know, I think the biggest thing though is a lot of times, you know, people overlook using a crankbait. You know, we all use soft plastics a lot. That's been the trend the last, you know, 10, 15 years anyways, you know, with the shaky worms and the, you know, everything from Carolina rigging. But you know, just, you know, the water is so clear, these fish will come up for it, won't they?
Oh yeah, no problem.
That's the thing is you get these aggressive fish and they're going to find you if they're on. They have no problem coming up 5 feet to hit a lure. And that's what I like about using cranks is that, you know, fish can see it from 5, 10 feet away. I mean, they'll find it if they're on. So nice.
Good.
From our base camp in Devils Lake, North Dakota, we travel the whole Midwest looking for the best fishing bites. If you like real-time fish reports, find out what bodies of water that we're fishing just to find the general patterns and techniques that we're using, give us a like on Facebook and hit the road with Jason Mitchell Outdoors. I bet you've really seen the interest in bass fishing change over the years.
Yes, Jason, we have. I mean, it's been quite a drastic change. When I first came up here, there was very little bass tackle in the stores. People were fishing the old style things like with frogs and whatso. And then in 1984, when we opened up the bass on Leech Lake, people really didn't know a whole lot about it. It opened up a whole new era. We ended up with bass clubs being formed all the way around the area. I thought it could be fun. They went fishing with different techniques, and they found out that they had lots of tournaments. There was club tournaments here just about all the time. So what changed was the tackle shops changed. They started putting in a lot of stuff. A lot of spinnerbait stuff was out there to start with. And of course now we've got all kinds of different sophistication, how you fish, different profile when you're out there. So yeah, the bass has really changed. And people are fishing them all around the area. So you got one day, if one species doesn't go, we fish another species, and that's really made it a lot better situation.
Here's a good fish out.
Yeah, that looks like a good one. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yep. There, boy.
Ooh,
That
fighting
fish.
good. Yeah. Nice fish.
Fish hit it right as that crank was coming up. I saw that fish come up and hit it.
That's good.
All right, good fish.
Barely hooked there, Jace.
Yep. Nice out. Get a hold of her here. There.
Nice.
Boy, isn't that fun?
Nice.
It's fun. Yeah, they just mug these crankbaits. That's part of it. I just love how they hit these things. They just
Smucker it,
whoop.
huh?
You know, that Hornet, that's one of my favorite walleye lures, but that bigger size just hits the right depth, the right profile where great bass lure
Yeah,
too,
you've done well with it today. It's
it's
been
been
good.
fun, but you know, it's just trying to figure out what they want. Every day is
Yep.
different. Tomorrow will be something else. You know
That's
that.
true.
So get this fish in the water. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. I'll shake hands
Wrong
left-handed. Good show.
Thank you.
Jason Mitchell Outdoors has been brought to you by Shields, North Dakota Tourism, Yar-Craft Boats, Yamaha, Onyx, Sonar Phone, Salmo, Northland Fishing Tackle, and Jason Mitchell Elite Series Rods.
To find out more information on Jason Mitchell Outdoors, make their official webpage one of your favorite pages. Find out upcoming show schedules and air times, along with past shows, article and product reviews at jasonmitchelloutdoors.com. Great information on the outdoors is just one click away.